A fight, hey, a physical altercation, it's been known to happen, and that takes us to this week's case. Involves real people in the state of New Jersey. There were a family, guy by the name of Abbott, and he shared a common driveway with another family named Scarano. Well, Abbott wanted to alter the driveway, and he was in the process of doing that. Scarano wasn't real excited about that, and at one point in time, he comes out and says, I don't like the way you're changing this, the way you want to repave it, and they get into a major Donnybrook. Start fighting away, and pretty soon two other Scaranos come out of the house and they start beating up on Abbott also. Well, one of the Scaranos brought a hatchet, one brought a butcher knife, and at one point in time, Abbott's able to grab the hatchet, hits one of the Scaranos across the head, does some pretty bad damage, and he, Abbott, is then arrested and tried for assault and battery. Case goes to a jury. Case goes to a jury. There they got the facts. They also were instructed by the judge on the law. And basically what the judge instructed them is when you are subjected to this kind of a confrontation, when a bunch of guys are coming at you, in this instance 3 people are coming at you, you have an obligation to retreat. Now, under the old English law, there was an obligation that when you were subjected to this kind of an assault, you had the obligation to retreat and continue to retreat and continue to retreat. Well, Scarano's attorneys said that's the way the law is. He didn't retreat, and accordingly, he is responsible for the actual assault and battery. On the other side of the coin, Abbott's attorney said that's really not the law here in the United States. Here in the United States, you only have an obligation to retreat if there is going to be deadly force. In short, you have a right to stand your ground unless the guys on the other side are threatening deadly force. Well, the case went to the jury. The jury came back. They accepted what the judge had to say, and he was saying, hey, at this point in time, the law provides that you have to retreat. So the judge instructed the jury that way, and the jury came around finding that Abbott was guilty. Went up on appeal, and at appeal, the court looked at it and said, you know, the law's changed here in the United States. It's not what it once was. We don't inherit the common law entirely. And here in the U.S., the law is that if somebody is subjected to an assault like this, they have an obligation to retreat only if lethal force, deadly force, is being threatened. In this instance, there was no deadly force being threatened, was the argument, by virtue of the fact that there weren't any guns or anything else. Some people would argue that use of a hatchet could be deadly force, but the court said, hey, there has to be a display of deadly force before you have to retreat. So the case was sent back down to the trial court to be retried. Well, that just recently happened, so we don't have the decision from the trial court on the second trial, and we don't know possibly whether it was settled through a plea bargain. The point of this case is very simple. It shows you the way in which, here in the United States, we are subject to common law. But here in the United States, we impose our values on that common law, and there will be changes in that common law made when cases are decided on a case-by-case basis. And here, the appellate court, the court of last resort, said that you do not have to, at least in New Jersey, you do not have to retreat when you're subjected to an assault unless deadly force is threatened. Now, was there deadly force here? Well, that's something for the jury to figure out. But long story short, that's what the rule is in New Jersey. And we see the way in which the law does change, and it matures and basically embraces the world as it exists today with our changing values. Okay, we bring you this case as we bring cases every week so you understand how the law works. I'm David Allen.